Hey Comeca family, welcome back for another edition of the Comeca Connection. Now, today's Thursday. It's our fourth day of going over the Sermon on the Mount and the Beatitudes. But before we begin, I want you guys to think about today in a way of how we treat others, how we treat our family members, and how maybe we can show a little kindness. So go ahead, grab your Bibles, I'll give you a few seconds, and we're going to dive right in. Awesome. So today we're diving into Matthew chapter 5, verse 9 and 10. And we're going to read verse 9 first. And it says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God." I love this verse because it talks about peacemakers. It talks about people that are literally there to keep the peace. And the reason I like this is because it reminds me of when we pick fights with others. Maybe our siblings, our parents, our family members, our spouses. I mean, I'm from a family of 7 and I'm a twin. And so everything that I got to do, I always shared it with my twin brother, Eric. Try sharing a birthday. I know for some of you that are twins out there, you have this rivalry in whose birthday is it first. Now, I got lucky and I'm 3 minutes older. And so it's my birthday first. But really, I mean, how silly of a fight that is to fight over our birthday. We should be celebrating each other. But maybe you have a fight too. Maybe you pick or fight about your cleaning up your room or taking out the trash or completing your homework. It could be something maybe verbal. Maybe you have an argument about whose birthday it is, or maybe it's something like he said, she said, or somebody's toys. I want to forget all that because he calls us to be peacemakers. He calls us to forgive others, even if they're at fault or even if we're at fault. You see, no matter if we are right or wrong, or maybe there is something bigger there, he calls us to keep the peace. So he died for us. He died for our faults, our fights, and our arguments, and forgives each and every one of us. This goes well with the next verse, which is verse 10, and it says, "Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." And the reason I think this goes really well with the past verse of being a peacekeeper, because sometimes when you're a peacekeeper, when you're keeping the peace, sometimes you're persecuted for that. Sometimes people look at you and they're mean, or they kind of are bullies. I know I mentioned earlier, Jesus had a lot of bullies. Jesus was persecuted, yet he kept the peace. And I also see Jesus sharing this with his disciples and kind of saying it as a challenge by asking us to show our faith off. Not by bragging in a way that is showing that, our faith is so much bigger and better than theirs, but more so in a caring and supportive way. More like a teacher and a student, where they are there and they're guiding them and showing them the way. Today, when you think of your faith, think of it humbly and ask of yourself if you put the Lord before your own wants and needs. What can you do to further your own understanding? Maybe that's reading the Bible, or maybe it's talking to somebody that you trust. I want you guys to think about that today. And thanks again. I'll see you tomorrow.